It's so bad enough I'm trying to hide all of this because I have been this gay since the 4th grade, y'all. Yes, all right? But it was still shocking to see so many white people, okay? They were everywhere. They were in the cafeteria. They were in the library. They were even using the bathrooms. What if they unionize? Or I don't know, what if they start an insurrection? What the why do? Are there any straight people here? Leave.
Do you agree or disagree?
Okay.
That black don't crack?
Monét Talks. Everybody come sit down, let's have a chat. Monét Talks. Living life gossip, chop it up, this or that. Monét Talks. Get comfortable with me, cause you on the show. We just wanna know where you been, who you been with. Monét Talks.
Hello, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Monét Talks. Today, we are graced with the presence of the Beverly Hills finest, Dr. Davis.
Hi.
Hey, Dr. Davis. Let me tell you something. Plastic surgery in general is something that really fascinates me.
Yes.
And it is something that I've said this before in many interviews and many things. I am 1,000% open to whatever that is going to look like for me in the future. And to have an expert here, me and the listeners and viewers are very excited.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Uh-huh.
We have in our office a neon sign that you're born naked and the rest is drag.
Yes.
Which is RuPaul.
To quote Miss RuPaul.
And of course it has its roots in drag, but I put that up from more of a plastic surgery standpoint is that the rest is drag. The clothes you wear, the hair the style that you have, that shouldn't be limited to the way you look physically.
Yeah.
And so people come into our office and they have certain changes they want to have, not unlike a wardrobe change. And the rest is drag. And I think there's sometimes judgment on that. But at the same time, I don't think there really should be.
There really should be. Well, first of all, RuPaul is like, he on the show, he says he's fascinated with plastic surgery. I don't know if do you watch Drag Race?
So I was big into season 12 and 13. That was like COVID time. We had even a fantasy league. So I was kind of after your time.
Who are you rooting for in the fantasy league? Who are your bets on?
So I love Simone.
Yeah. So guys, saw that at a party last night actually.
And then Jada Essence Hall, we actually did a cameo for my wife. If I could say happy birthday and
Cute. Yeah. So actually it's perfect that those seasons you watched because in the finale of Jada's, do you remember in the finale when RuPaul was in that face mask and everyone was like, so from your professional opinion, what do you think that face mask was about?
I don't know. You may have more insight than I do.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I know RuPaul always says that it takes a lot for her to get in drag now. So I mean, so I think only she knows what she's going for. And I do get a lot of questions. For example, the DNC was this week. Yeah. And how does Oprah look? Or how does Kamala Harris look? And I have to make these comments. And more times than not, they look great.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think so too. Awesome. I mean, Oprah looks exceptional, stunning. So like,
she's in her 70s.
I know.
Yes.
So this is my question. Is this like, what is good work versus good genes? Like, can you look at someone and be like, you know what? These are just genes. These are like your genes working hard, or maybe you're doing really good maintenance.
Yes.
Really good procedures.
So a good surgical procedure, you can't tell if it's genes or not. So with Oprah, she looks stunning. She looks amazing. More times than not, small procedures that are done discreetly and often don't make the news. Those are what make people, when you look at them, you're like, how are you not aging? Something's going on. Yeah. And it's usually surgical in nature. Yeah. And we can get into things like injectables and things because things can get out of whack.
Girl.
People look just like puffy or this, that. And there's a reason for that. And we can get into all of that.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's always my thing. I'm like to for people to just think, you know what? I think it's just good genes because the changes are so incremental and they're so tiny. Like you can't really so I think that, and again, I don't know this for sure. You're the professional, but it looks like that's what to me, people like Kim K and stuff, they do like these like small things over time that you can't even tell it's a thing is happening. Yeah. But then over time, you're just like, wow, you're just not aging. It looks so good.
Yes.
So that's why I need to start now.
Well, so that is a category of like restoration. So people come into plastic surgery, especially in my practice, for like three things: restoration, or they want to alter something, or they want to affirm something. So restoration is more of like the aging phase. Like our cheeks fall down. We get platysmal bands here.
What is this called? The turkey neck?
Turkey neck is really a combination of fat and then these bands. These like muscular bands that kind of separate and form themselves. So that's like restoration. So bringing people, you can never step in the same river twice. You can't go back all the way, but because our facial structure has changed, so you can lift people up and they look more restored. But you can't necessarily make them look like they're 20. It's just not physically possible.
Yeah, like, and also, right. Who wants to be 70 years old and look like you're 20? That would be weird. Yes. Like that would be strange.
More times than not, people are just like, I don't feel tired.
Yeah.
And but people call me tired.
Look tired.
And like, I have a bunch of energy, but it doesn't replicate
on my face.
And then people want to alter things. That's the other thing. So like a nose is a good example. A younger person, for whatever reason, our society says a hump is not right to have.
Like this, the nose hump.
Yeah. Or our ears stick out. So we kind of bring those back in. So people want to alter. And the last thing is affirm. Like, so gender affirmation.
Yes.
Your identity on the inside doesn't necessarily match the outside. And so those are the three main things that people come in. And more times than not, people come in and they know what they want.
Yeah.
And you make these changes and they go about their daily lives and they feel that much better because of it.
Yeah.
So
I want to go back a little bit because I want to, so you are an athlete. You were an athlete, a humanitarian with your work in the Peace Corps in the DR, a composer, an instrument maker.
Yes.
Like are these all like loves? Like how did you find your way to plastic surgery through all of that?
Good question. So, I mean, I grew up in Indiana. So that's where like all the woodworking and like working with my hands, my dad was big into that kind of stuff. So I built guitars and that kind of stuff. And then I was in international studies, diplomacy, foreign affairs. I wanted to be a diplomat. And then
so you could have been up in the DNC.
I bet I got excited.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Peace Corps because I was like, I don't necessarily know what I want to do with my life, and went to the Dominican Republic, which is close to kind of your origins.
Yeah, in St. Lucia.
And there was a huge Haitian earthquake a long time ago, and I was like, I want to volunteer. And so there was a lot of medical missions that came in. And so a lot of amputations, unfortunately. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be a surgeon. Wow. So I went back to school to do all my courses, went to become a surgeon. I thought I wanted to be, I'm a quarterback. So I wanted to be like an orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah.
But then I felt like the face was a little bit more refined. And then there's this thing called facial plastic surgery. So you go down this route of head and neck surgery. And then there's this little segment of facial plastic surgery that not many people know about. If you want to have your face altered or changed, a facial plastic surgeon is the one to be that. And it's a very artistic endeavor and scientific. So like blended everything for me.
Wow. Because I guess if you're working on someone's face, you're an artist as well. Like, because you're helping like sculpt and create this thing. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, and society has their own perceptions of beauty and attractiveness. So all that stuff comes into play.
Yeah.
And you have to be like really precise. I mean, this is somebody's face. So it's high stakes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let me tell you something. Like I think we've all seen, to your point, like we've seen someone and you're like, girl, I don't think your plastic surgeon loved you. Because I can't believe that they let you out the office looking like that. That's nuts. Like, so you want a plastic surgeon who is going to care for you. And so when your patients come in, when someone comes in and they want something that you think is super unrealistic, like how do you handle that?
That is so surgery is all about risk versus reward. So any kind of surgery you do, there's risks associated. And I have to be very clear about it. So if there's something that I can't do, then I say, first of all, I can't do it. You can't certain people want to have, this is an extreme example, but if like they want their ears to be more pointy or more like that kind of stuff, I just can't necessarily do.
Yeah.
But there has to be a balance. And when you look in the mirror and if you feel that, man, I feel, my fear of doing this surgery is not outweighed by my confidence in wanting to do it, that's when you should actually do something. But if you're still fearful or you're kind of unsure about it, I really suggest people don't necessarily do surgery until they feel that confidence.
Yeah.
There's no scientific study, but I really see it a lot, is those who are confident and like are very positive, they fly through the recovery process. Yeah. And the power of the mind is really interesting in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it on here. I've never had anything on my face. Yeah. Only I did Lipo 360. Okay. And then I went back for a second round of like lower lipo on my back, which did not work. The doctor stole my money and I did all the things. I did the surgery. I wore the things, but I just didn't have any fat there. In my mind, I was convinced I did. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you have something there." And I was on the table and because it was air sculpt, so I could be awake and doing it. So I could I'm seeing like the thing that gets all the fat. And when I tell you it was this, I was like, "Doctor, you didn't take anything out." And he was like, no, trust me, I did. And then 3 months later, I was like, there's no change in my body. So it was a little bit of an annoying thing. But
look, you have a nice sweater on and sweatshirt, but I don't think you have much fat on your body.
Thank you, doctor.
There wouldn't be much to take.
Talk to me about a deep plane facelift. And why is it your favorite surgery?
Okay, that's a good question. So facelifting is as a historical point. People want, the most fearful thing that people have is looking inauthentic or not looking natural.
Yeah.
So when we age, our cheeks go down.
Yeah.
Our jowls form. Things age vertically.
Yeah.
Okay? So it doesn't make sense then to bring things over here because they never were over here.
Yeah.
With the deep plane facelift, we're not only going under the skin, but I'm going under the deeper structure and able to lift.
Like the muscles and stuff?
Just right above the muscles, to lift the structure vertically. And that's what, it's really tough for me, if you're doing a deep plane technique, to make someone look unnatural. Because you're bringing things back to where they once were. As opposed to, you see this a lot where the skin itself is asked to hold up the face. Yeah. That's not something that the skin is designed to do.
So what is that called? Just the skin? That's called
a skin only facelift. That's kind of like an old school. It's still done today.
Okay.
What happens is you pull, which you get these distortions of the lip kind of laterally. And then over time, you still age. And then you get this like,
oh God,
you get this Nike swoosh.
Yeah, that makes so much sense now. Yes. You're describing that. And I've seen that before.
Yes, you see it. It's kind of rampant. And when you lift the structural elements, that's what's lifting and bearing all the weight. The skin is just kind of trimmed, is kind of going along for the ride. So there's no tension on the sides. So the incision is just like this infinitesimally small thing because there's no tension.
Yeah.
So if you cut yourself on your elbow, that thing's going to scar because you're constantly moving. The same thing if there's a lot of tension here.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you can see these things and sometimes you just can't.
Interesting.
Yeah. And trust me, I didn't know any of this when I first was in medical school, that there's a whole gradation of facelifting, but that, and most of the viewers don't know that either, or the listeners. Yeah, there is, and you should know about it and educate yourself.
Well, my thing is that, so when did people discover that you should be doing the deep one, and why do people still do the skin? I mean, maybe it's just the skin is probably, I'm assuming, much cheaper than a deep plane.
And it's more, so deep plane is more technically involved.
Okay.
And so for a head and neck surgeon like myself, I only do the face, that kind of stuff is relatively easy to me because I'm in that anatomy all the time anyways.
Got it.
So that's why someone per se doesn't necessarily do it. It's more of a technique type
more of a technique.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, here's my fear about when I eventually want to do a facelift is that I'm bald.
Yeah.
So I cannot hide any scars. Yes. Like wherever you cut me, whatever, people are gonna see it. So that's my biggest, I'm looking to the future. I'm like, sure. I will have, people will see my work.
Yes. So there's a lot of talk, especially with somebody who has more facial hair, like a male facelift, is you make these incisions and then you advance the skin, of course, and then you're also advancing the hair follicles. So you can potentially have hair kind of towards your ear. You just have to have a discussion, but then you can do like laser hair
removal to fix that
so
stuff.
The idea is to hide things like the as you know, we have light in this room here. Light bounces off certain angles. So if you put the incisions specifically in the right area, light will just bounce off it. So the human eye just doesn't see it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess there isn't even an option even going. I was like behind the ear.
Yeah, so you go behind the ear, hug it tight. I've done people that have, bald heads, shaven heads, and if it's done right and just a little bit of an incision, you might have a little bit back here. Yeah. And you might just have a little bit seen up here. But if there's no tension on your wound, it's going to be this infinitesimally small thing. And you can do tattooing. So you can there's pigment specialists that will actually, I don't do it, but I refer to them that can tattoo those specific areas.
I was going to say, I could just be like Amber Rose and just get a tattoo on my forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can work. Or people that they're they get injuries on their legs or something, and they just tattoo make a nice design over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't do all that.
Like a Mike Tyson type thing.
So, and I think a big thing that people want to know, I'm very curious about is like, when should you start? Because actually I want to go first.
Yeah.
I'm going to name these surgeries and you tell me when you should start doing it.
Okay.
Botox. When do you start Botox?
I would say late 20s.
Late 20s.
Yes.
Because it's the thing, you see these on TikTok, these young kids are 21, 22 and they are Botox down. And I'm like, that just so that's in your early 20s, it's too young.
I would say it's too young. Look, Botox is likely the most innocent but effective thing you can do in the facial plastic surgery or facial aesthetics world. Got it. If you place Botox specifically here and here, it mutes these muscles and then allows your forehead to lift your eyes open. It's a win for anybody. And there's no real negative side effects. Certainly if you put it in the wrong area, you can have some side effects. Yeah. But it is a low risk in the sense of 3 months, it wears off if you don't like it. Yeah. So I don't find that too alarming. The fillers, and we'll probably get into that. That's what I find a little bit more alarming.
Yeah, something I want to fix, right? You see how I have this this eye is fine.
Yeah.
And this one has a little fold.
Yeah.
So would Botox fix this? No.
Slightly. So if you did Botox right here in the crow's feet, it will actually mute this area and then allow your frontalis muscle to open up and lift that area. Okay. So you kind of get a temporary fix.
Okay. I definitely want a permanent one at some point.
Yeah. So that's more of a lateral brow lift. So you're kind of lifting up the corners of your eyebrow. As opposed to the eyelid surgery, which is an upper blepharoplasty. So if you have a lot of people
hooded eye.
Yeah, where you're putting makeup on or whatever, and you're like, why is this thing getting caked up underneath? That's a sign that you might want an eyelid surgery. But the hooding right here, this is a brow lift.
Got it.
And with people who have more longer hair, you can make an incision here and lift. With someone like you can hide an incision right on the edge of your eyebrow and you do a direct brow lift. And that's the most control that I have. You just have to be okay with it's like a small little incision.
I'm fine with it, doctor. I'm fine. I'm with body's incision. Filler. When should you start filler? Or are you opposed to doing filler at all?
No, I'm not opposed to filler. We're finding, so filler in itself augments. It makes things bigger.
Okay.
And it's based nowadays on hyaluronic acid. So it's natural occurring substance in our body. It's just kind of synthetic. What that does is it attracts water. So it attracts water to make whatever you put it, make it more plump. The manufacturers say that it stays inside for about 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
But we're finding with CT scans that it's actually staying in there for 9 or 10 years, which you might think, okay, that's great. It's staying, but it's, if you kind of layer it, it's been 2 years, do it again.
Yeah.
You're keeping this layer of a water attractiveness. So your face, you get this like filler face, you get this puffiness. So I'm not against fillers. Just do it in a judicious way. I think, sometimes people ask me about lips. How many times should you fill your lips? I would say maybe once or twice in your lifetime.
In your lifetime?
Yes, and not do much, because as we age, once we turn over the age of probably 40, things can actually, the filler can make things more heavy.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Filler here, then this becomes heavy.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when I do surgery, I ask them about their filler history. I dissolve all of their filler.
Which I heard hurts so
It's a little stingy. Yes. And
Spicy.
then you can lift.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said filler once or twice, and I know people who've gotten their lips done, like since I've like once or twice a year.
A little much.
Yeah,
I would say it's a little much.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yes.
She's also very cute shoes.
Thank you.
Threads. I've heard about this thread thing. I have some friends that do it. It seems so wild to me. So when should you start doing threads? Are you into? Oh wait. So you said when should we start doing filler?
Filler
Roughly?
Usually in your 30s.
30s.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That can go in the category of alteration. So you want to alter your lips, make them more plump. Like the upper lip and the bottom lip have a relationship. So you should know what that is. Your upper lip shouldn't necessarily be even more plump than your bottom lip.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. So lip is probably the beginning. The people that enter. Some cheeks are important. Just be judicious and don't put so much in. Threads though.
Threads.
You asked about threads. I'm a no-go on that.
No threads.
No threads.
Why?
I think some people will be upset with me for saying that, but that's a no for me. So temporarily it does help.
Yeah.
What threads are dissolvable pieces of material that are placed right under your skin and then lifting up. If done properly, great. If done, but it's really hard to do it properly. You get these like little lines that you can actually see. Yes.
I've never seen that.
And they're supposed to dissolve, but sometimes they don't. And when I do facelifts, sometimes I'm in a different layer, but they'll be in that layer and I'll have to pull them out myself. So it's just not, it's not worth it. They're expensive.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they're just a temporary result.
Yeah.
So I'm not for it.
Not for threads. Okay. And then facelifts. Like when, like roughly around what age would you
say? That is a changing
it's like
times. So it used to be like mid 50s average. I would say my average is like early 50s, late 40s average. So that means people are in their 40s getting it. The reason why is, so our face is held on by a little ligament here and a little ligament here. So like things fall. When you do a deep plane facelift, you're actually going under all of this, lifting it up, and then it re-welds itself or re-scars itself up higher. So you get this durability to it. So someone who's in their mid 40s, this thing will last into their 50s and 60s because now their face, like they look better after the surgery, but in 10 years, they will have looked even more than their twin who didn't do surgery because they resist that gravity because physically it's more lifted. So that's why people are opting to do it a little bit younger. And again, it makes people look natural. We're bringing things back up. We're not pulling to the side that it's very tough for people to see. And the younger you are, just the recovery is faster. You bounce back. So,
I've had some friends, a friend who got hers in her late 40s. I think she was 49 and it's like 6 years later and it looks amazing. Like it looks so good. And I think she got a deep plane. I don't think it was a skin one. I'm pretty sure.
If it's lasted, it probably is a deep plane.
Deep plane.
Yeah, and I'm just amazed at how most people come in, they have a reason for coming in, whatever it is, they want to restore something. And then it just like unlocks this energy and this confidence that I love because I have a lot of professionals that come in, a lot of people like lawyers who need to be in front of a jury or newscasters or just for whatever reason, society says certain things about our face and they just feel more confident.
They feel more confident. I mean, also like, so you have like all these celebrities, like who just seem to be aging really well, like Tom Cruise, Madonna, Oprah, Shaka Khan. Like Shaka Khan is she's 71 and the girl looks like she is 17. It is wild. It is very, very, very wild. Like, can you look at these people on screen and like, even like, because we don't know because we don't have the like, but when you see these celebrities, you're like, I know that's I can tell that's really good work. So when you're in your 70s and if you look phenomenal and you don't look like another 70-year-old, you probably something has been done. So a lot with facelifts, should look at the ears. So your earlobe is you have a free flowing earlobe. I do too. But if you have a poorly done facelift, that earlobe can actually become part of your face. So that's a complete. But the funny thing is my wife
what's this called, like a pixie ear. My wife naturally has that.
Oh, does
so
she?
It's so funny. But so some people do have it. And so the point is it's tough. It's tough to tell. Where incisions go are so important. So if you have an incision, a lot of times they'll be in front here of your hairline. I go in the hair itself. Some will have it back down the hair instead of I put it in the hairline. So when people wear their hair up, you could potentially see a thin line.
Yeah.
I don't like to do that. So those are things that you can tell. And then some of the telltale ones, you just know. Like, so like if, like we talked about, if you lift to the side, then it kind of looks good temporarily. And then over time, it kind of goes. Zoop, like
got the swoosh.
Yeah. But, you know, you don't, in the end, you don't quite know unless you're the surgeon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were quoted saying, good plastic surgery does not make the news and usually is never spoken of. At its best, good plastic surgery softly accentuates the beauty we already have. Like, do you have, like, I know you can't name any names.
Yes.
Do you have any like celebrity clientele that we would be surprised of?
I would say yes. Yes.
Okay. That's just a little
I'll just give you a story. This is what I don't necessarily like. And it seems like I love that we're talking about this, being open about plastic surgery, but you'll have people that come in will say, you know, I'm a brand ambassador for skin creams. So I don't want people to know. I want people to know that I look youthful because of my skin creams. I don't want to know that I had surgery. And I think that's just such a disservice to people to keep growing and like you're aging and like, oh, my skin creams are doing this for me. It's not. And that has been something that I kind of wrestle with myself. But you have to, I mean, secrecy is very important. And, and like, you know, it's the law too. So you can't necessarily talk about these things. But it's just like, man, you'd be surprised at how there's some misinformation out there. And I think that's just a disservice to everybody. Yeah.
I mean, well, it is also this like societal pressure to like always, everyone wants to look young and like look young forever. It's like this thing that we're all constantly battling and feeling.
Yes.
But I mean, to like go to get the surgery to look young and be like, oh no, it's just this BB cream I use. It's just because I moisturize every day. So I always look young. That is wild.
Yep.
What are the most popular procedures that are like what are the big three?
The big three for me are facelifting. People always want their nose to be contoured in a certain way. Lip lifts are becoming even more popular.
So lip, like just to lift her.
So there are three things you can do with your lips. You can do filler.
Yeah.
You can do what's called a lip flip.
A lip flip.
So around our mouth, there's this muscle that like contracts. That's our lips. So if you put a few drops of Botox here, it'll paralyze this area and then allow the other parts of your muscle to lift your lip up. So it's a lip flip.
Oh.
So that flips you up.
Got it.
And the lip lift is small little incisions underneath here that then somebody who has a long upper lip, you remove it in a very like judicious way, and you literally remove skin and lift
the lips up more.
Yeah, and that goes in the category of like you can make a very stylized lip, like very lifted in the center, or lifted on the side, or the aging face. So like our bone structure underneath gets smaller, so our lips get longer and they get thinner. So when you lift that up, you have this illusion of almost having a facelift because people, the most important things in our face are our eyes and our lips. Yeah. And so if you really can lift up that lip, it actually showcases your bottom lip more. And it's just a powerful procedure.
Interesting. I've never heard of that one.
That's called, so we have lip flip, which is Botox, and then we have lip lift.
Lip lift, which is surgery too.
And these are all like, you can Google them. These are all categories. These are like names of like specific, like proprietary names.
Another one that people often, we ask the listeners on the Patreon, is our eye bags. Now, is that something, talk about the eye bag surgery, because that's another big one. People are always
tough. So eye bag surgery can be very powerful on the right person. So our eyes, as we age, go in the back. Yeah, you know it. And so there's a lot of fat that's around our eyes. So that pooches out, and then it gets stuck right here. So that's kind of like it's called like an orbital fat bags. That's kind of what people say are bags. Also, our cheeks fall down, so you get this kind of line in between with this bag. So, but if people have a lot of allergies, they get a lot of puffiness out here. Those are called festoons. So you have festoons or eye bags. Festoons are not surgically related.
You can't.
Yeah. If you misdiagnose and try to treat that, it can get worse. So that's more allergy. But eye bags are literally the fat. So you can make it. What I do is make an incision on the inside of the eyelid and transpose that fat, free it up from its like compartment, and then move it across this area. And so it smooths out that entire area.
What?
And that's your fat. It's not taken from anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it has its own blood supply. So it just stays.
Oh.
So, but if you have a lot of allergies, then that wouldn't necessarily be the proper.
Got it.
What has also been in vogue is to put filler through here.
Filler hair, yeah.
It should be falling out of vogue because people are getting allergies from it. The eyes themselves hold water. So if a lot of people more than that just get it dissolved, even the most expert of hands. So I would really shy away from filler underneath. Yeah.
I've seen that too, because the idea being obviously filler is filling it in is bringing it out, but no, because you said the water thing.
So if you have allergies, that can puff you right up and do the exact opposite of what you want.
Yeah, but I've seen those commercials where they take, and you tell me, please debunk this. You see these people, and then they take this cream and they put on their eye, and then like the time lapse of like a minute, and they're like, what is that? Like, how is that possible?
So it's the same principle, I think. I've actually was walking down the streets of Beverly Hills and someone pulled me in. Oh, sir, you need to put this cream on. Yeah, I was like, no, thank you.
Like, wrong person. You got the wrong one.
You know those tape, right, that you put on before you go to the party, before you go to like Grammys.
Yeah, those are like, yeah.
So what that's doing is putting tape and moving out all of that fluid. A lot of this is like lymph fluid, and it disallows it to go in. So and it works for about 3 or 4 hours, that tape. My thought on what these things are is that they actually tighten up this area temporarily with an actual, it's like a substance. I don't know if it's like a glue or something that really keeps it taut. And so it doesn't allow a lot of the fluid to go in there.
Got it.
But I think over time, it loses its effect.
Yeah, there's no way that it could be long term. I'm sure it's going to last for like a night.
But if you're going to go to a party and you have puffy eyes, maybe do that. Or just, you can get on Amazon these like little tape things that are designed for go under your eyes. And it does wonders for like 3 or 4 hours.
Got it.
Big things for facial swelling. Alcohol will do it. If you go have sushi and a lot of salt, so that'll puff up your face.
Got it.
Even if you've never had surgery. So if you really want to look good temporarily, low salt diet, no alcohol, get some sleep.
Do you drink alcohol?
From time to time, a lot less than I used to.
I've started doing alcohol.
As you get older, it just kind of
it also doesn't feel good anymore. It really doesn't make you feel good anymore. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm really 35, huh? I'm like sitting there like, I can't drink tonight because I'm like, no, I don't want to be that person.
Well, we had some friends over last night. We had some tequila, and I like tequila.
I like tequila too. I'm a Casamigos drinker.
I had a few, and then I was like, man, I'm gonna feel this. I got an event tomorrow with you. I gotta look good.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. I'm gonna ask this question. Please feel free to answer super honestly. Do you agree or disagree?
Okay.
That black don't crack?
I agree.
Really?
I think there's a delayed effect. So that's getting into things like sun damage. So we have a whole score, like a 1 through 6. It's called the Fitzpatrick score. If you go out in the sun, could you get burnt?
It had to be out for a very long time. I mean, like hours.
But then you have like an Irish person with red hair that gets burnt
immediately.
So that is the amount of melanin that we have in our skin and the protection of our skin. So we have solar elastosis. That's like the name. If you have repeated sun damage, it'll make your skin thin. It'll make your skin not have the nice sugar that it has. Yeah. Like Japanese, Asian descent, there's more melanin, African descent. So the skin just is more beautiful for longer. I guess is a way of saying it.
Got it.
So I would say yes to that. There's very scientific backing to that.
Yeah.
But that's not to say you should not wear sunscreen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've only in like the last year realized, I need to start wearing sunscreen because all the esthetician, everyone's like, you should wear sunscreen every day you go out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and also
you can't escape it.
I know you can't escape it no matter how much melanin you got. Yes. You still should still put
Oprah looks great for 70, but she probably looks great for other reasons too.
Yeah. I
don't have any inside information on that, but just because she has more melanin in her skin. Yeah. When we get to 70, it happens to us all.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, good to know. Yeah. And this is very real. Like all my, close friends and stuff real. I've kind of talked about it. I don't know if I really want to do it or like whatever, but gender affirming FFS surgery and FMS, facial masculinity, is that a thing? Yeah. Talk about FFS. Like I know it's a really intense surgery. You're like shaving things down, you're pulling things like, how often are you doing FFS?
So I don't necessarily do it, but I'm trained in it. So it's just, we have these polarities, right? Masculine and feminine, one look more masculine or feminine. So with feminization, so the eyebrows is a big one. So like the eyebrow ridge, masculine has more of a ridge. So you actually do a surgery to shave down this area. If you want masculine cheeks are a little bit more chiseled. So by lifting up, so I do like a mid-face lift to bring the cheeks up, so bring them more of a roundedness.
For masculine, really?
For feminine.
Got it.
So which way you want to go?
I mean, no, I want
not you personally.
No, I do. I want like a medium FFS. Like I don't want like a full FFS, but I would like more of like a sweetheart kind of face, and I think I would like. Yeah. I would like to lift the cheeks more, so it'd be more around what you're talking about. Like little things, I'm talking little things, or like huge things. I'm like saying little things, but
Yeah, so lifting the cheeks is nice. To slenderize this area. Yeah. You can even do 40 or 50 units of Botox in this area. So our muscle, that like this is the masseter muscle, you paralyze this a little bit. Yes, we do chew with that muscle. It doesn't affect it. It will slenderize this whole area.
Really? So that's like, I can try it out to see if I really want to do it.
Try that out. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, so do a lot of Botox.
And then we have the tracheal either shave or augmentation. If you're shaving down, it's more of a feminine look. You can augment this area to make it more of a masculine look.
Got it.
And that's a small incision usually in the crease underneath here. Nose is a big one. So more of a feminine nose is a little bit more upturned, a little more aligned, kind of dorsally, kind of like more thin. Yeah. When you put on drag, like you're probably a savant with like how
contouring and shadows. Yeah.
So you know it.
Yeah.
So that's I'm just kind of like permanently making it.
Well, that's the thing. I've thought about rhinoplasty too, and people are like, no, Monét, do not change your nose. Blah, 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 your nose balance your face. But I would like. I mean, I'm not trying to go full Jackson, okay? I'm not trying to go full Jackson, but there is like, I would like a little bit of what you're talking about, like just to round this up a little bit and just
bring it in.
Bring it just, I mean, ever so slightly though. Like I don't want anything crazy, but I'm like, but I'm also nervous because once you do it, like that's it. I can't go back. So just the things that makes me
so
nervous.
When you bring in a nose, you're making little micro fractures in the bone, and so you bring it in, and then you have a cast and that kind of stuff. There's a saying that a good nose is one that gives way to the eyes. So a nose that you kind of forget about, and just kind of, so you have these dorsal aesthetic lines. So we're looking at somebody's face, and if it just goes right up into your eyes. Then that is
a good nose. You have a great nose.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So those are fun things. I always wanted to do FFS, a little rhinoplasty. But
Well, maybe start with anybody that's listening, just doing some Botox in this area.
Got it.
Very like low relatively investment and low risk, and it will slenderize that area. And if you grind your teeth at night, like it'll help it too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because you're numbing this thing. This area. Yeah. I do want to get into the Botox. I haven't yet. I 1000% will. But
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, well, the major thing people like to tell you about is the forehead wrinkles. But I don't really have that. Like kind of like really minimal. So I'm like, I guess I don't need to, but I think I'm going to try it for this thing you're saying here. I can try a little bit there for that.
So you can. So the thing with Botox, I don't think of it as a wrinkle. People love to think of it as a wrinkle reducer, which it is. I think of it, especially up here, as a controller of your eyebrows. So this muscle here brings your eyebrows down. This muscle here brings your eyebrows down.
Yeah.
This muscle lifts your eyebrows. So if we turn off these guys, it'll actually lift and have a more open look to your eyes. Now, if you have like strong wrinkles and people are like, I really want these wrinkles gone, then I have to do this as well. Mm-hmm. But it'll have a net effect of kind of bringing things down. Oh. So I love to teach people about, hey, do you want to be more open? And they're like, yes. And then they do it. And then 3 or 4 days later, when it actually works, their eyes are just more
okay,
open.
Doctor, can I book it up? I'm booking a session. Yes.
Come, please.
Yes, open me up.
Yes.
So like looking forward to plastic surgery. What is the next thing that's coming that is going to like revolutionize the thing, right? Because like I think facelifts are a thing. Like first it was just the skin, then it became the deep one. Like what is like the next big surgical thing coming? Yeah,
so I've changed the deep plane of what I do. So I've come out with a thing called the Evo lift, or the evolution of the deep plane facelift. So when you go into the deep plane, you're actually entering right about here and then lifting up, not to get so technical, but in order to enter right here, you can't make a cut right here, right? You have to go under the skin and then you go, it's like a blanket. You have a comforter and then you have a blanket, so that we're pulling the blanket that then pulls the skin.
Yeah.
But in order to get in there, you have to take off a lot of this, or decouple it from itself underneath. So what I've done is enter much more farther back here to get fully lifted, but the skin is not devitalized. So people are more, there's less bruising. I feel it's more of a natural look, and the recovery time is diminished. So that's an evolution of that technique. A lot of things in plastic surgery have been repeated and done before. And sometimes when you kind of do other things, it just doesn't, things, almost all has been invented under the sun when it comes to plastic surgery. I think gender affirming stuff surgeries are becoming a little bit more advanced, but people have played with like doing implants and things like that.
Oh yeah, I've seen those too. Yeah.
So yes, you can have the most perfectly placed cheek implant, for example, but our bone changes underneath. So in 10 years, you have this kind of free floating thing
just in your face.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff. So I think there's some more like skin improvement through like stem cell or platelet rich plasma. That kind of stuff will help. I think it's a little bit more in the forefront. There's a thing called platelet rich fibrin. So that you're basically taking your own blood, spinning it down, and then injecting very specific growth factors from your own body.
Got it.
Yeah.
I've seen. Oh, do you know what? The thing that I've seen too is a microneedling in the face.
Yeah. Yes.
And that one bugs me out because I had one microneedle experience where what happened was I had like a stretch mark thing here. And then so I was like, I went to this laser place and we can do microneedling, and they did the microneedling, and it like bruised me, like really me up for like a long time. So I'm like, the thought of getting microneedling on my face seems like wild, but it's a thing that I see people doing all the time. They love it. You look like 10 years younger in 3 days or whatever it is.
Yeah, I would just take that with a grain of salt. So microneedling is one thing. You're putting like little needles in your skin. But then more than likely what's going on now is called radio frequency microneedling. You put needles in and then it passes a current between those needles and it kind of like tightens things up. And that's really been invented for darker skin tones because by far laser or CO2 laser is like the pinnacle of facial resurfacing. The thing is, if you have a lot of melanin in your skin, you have changes to your skin. So that's why the radio frequency microneedling was invented.
Got it.
It just takes a lot of sessions to get a good result. And I have a lot of people that come into my office that have that done. And I have one in my office and they were told that it's going to like change the structure of their face. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's a skin resurfacing technique, making our skin more beautiful. It doesn't do much about actually changing the contour of our face. And I think if people are listening. Like if that's what you're going for changing your contour, that's not the thing to do. If you want your skin to be a little more clear, the pores to be a little bit more shrunken down, then yeah, go for it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing is red light
questions.
Thank you. Red light therapy. Yeah. Is that real? Does that work?
I haven't seen a lot of great evidence on that.
Right.
People swear by it. And look, if you swear by it, if it makes you feel good, okay. There's nothing negative with it.
Right.
Yes.
I'm like, it just my brain can't wrap around the concept of how red light is working and improving your skin.
The one area where it does have some scientific evidence is the scalp. So if you are interested, if you have hair loss, red light therapy can promote growth of your hair follicles.
Really?
Yeah. So like these red light caps, you can wear these caps, and then you can buy them online.
I think I'm too far gone. I think it's a wrap for me.
Got it.
Which this thing I had about Turkey, right? So you see a lot of people going to Turkey for like a lot of facial stuff and facial surgeries. Yeah. Like, how do you feel about that? Like is Turkey revolutionizing some type of thing that why Turkey?
Cost.
The cost of it.
Cost. So I have nothing against Turkey surgeons. I think there are many across this world. We have really well-trained surgeons, but I've had a lot of people come in after having a nose or whatever. It's a little bit cheaper but you still have to fly out there, but then there's no follow-up. Yeah. So if you get an infection, that's a problem. Who's going to take care of you? Yeah. This one lady came in with the nose and she went to an urgent care to get her stitches removed. And they're like, I don't know what these stitches are. She got an infection, was on multiple antibiotics. Jesus. And if you go down to Mexico, we're really close to Mexico. Yeah. That, again, great surgeons, but then we don't know what the follow-up care and the infection care. And you're actually, because this is a process. So when you come in to see me, we kind of mesh. We come up with a plan. Yeah. We do the surgery, but I'm following you for like 6, 7, 8 months on a routine basis. So like if your incisions, like I fine tune those the whole time. So I might inject a little bit of steroid here to make it a little more smooth. I might pass a little laser over this. So we're fine tuning over. So if you go abroad, you're not getting that.
Got it. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and again, it's like your body and your face. I'm not people do whatever they want, but for me, like the things I've done, my body, I've stayed in the States, so at least I mean, if not the state I'm living in, at least in the US. So I know I can like go back to the doctor and I can fly back for a follow-up, because what you're talking about, like that's the most important part is the aftercare. Like making sure my incisions look good. Like that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're right. So in the United States, like I know physicians that could take care of you in New York, or if you're in Chicago, I can just call them up and say, hey, this person is from your town. They came out to see me. Yeah. Could you take the stitches out? Could you follow up with that person? If they're like, yes, then I just, hey, we've got a plan. Yeah. And so if you're going to go to Turkey or Mexico or any of the, just have a plan. Have a physician that you can trust. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to find if you're not the one that did the surgery. Yeah.
Swinging by the urgent care to get your stitches out is next level.
Next level.
Dr. Davis, thank you so much.
This is great.
For swinging by and enlightening us. You have answered so many questions people have.
Great.
And we actually have some more questions that we're going to do in a little Patreon exclusive that we got specifically from our listeners about surgeries and about you and things.
Great.
So can we do that for a little Patreon exclusive?
Let's do it.
Great. So if you want to hear that, swing on over to the Patreon and Dr. Davis is answering your questions. Woo!